Earlier in the show, you'll have seen Johnny and I putting a couple of luxury, sporty 4x4s through their paces to find out which is best. But you don't necessarily have to spend big bucks to own a big SUV. All of these offer 7 seats. They give you a grand view and can now be yours for under £7,000. The Volvo XC90, the Land Rover Discovery 3, and the Audi Q7. They're all cracking motors, but they're also all diesels, so bear in mind the proposed emission zone charges Jason mentioned earlier. I'll start with something Swedish. Of the 3 cars here, the Volvo is the oldest. It's been around since 2002. Consequently, very early high-mileage models can be had for about £2,500. But if you want something fresher, then £7,000 will buy you a car that's about 10 years old with reasonable mileage. Over its 12-year production run, this first-generation XC90 was fitted with numerous engines. However, the 2.4 diesel was the most common and the most economical. Volvos of this era were not renowned to be particularly sporty, not least a 4x4 like this, so don't expect the drive of your life. But I could happily do many miles in this machine. Like the others, it's got permanent 4-wheel drive, and what's really clever is the way this car is packaged. It is big, yes, but it feels quite narrow, and it's not unwieldy in any way. Used as a 5-seater, the XC90 has a huge boot, but cram in 2 more people and be prepared to compromise on luggage. Plus, the extra seats are quite cramped, so it becomes more of a day trip machine. Don't forget, this is a 7-seater family car and will have been through the rigours of family life, so try and look for one that's as pristine as you can possibly find. So, if you fancy an XC90 on your drive, what must you look out for? As you might expect, these cars are generally very reliable, but if there is a start-up issue in cold weather, it could mean that the injectors are on their way out, and that's a £1,500 fix. And finally, you can get stung on road tax. Check the CO2 figure of the exact model that you're buying, because the size of the wheels alone could push the price up from £300 to £500 a year. Bonkers. Next, the Land Rover. When the 3rd-generation Discovery broke cover in 2004, it was a world away from the previous 2 machines. You either loved its brutal, slab-sided looks or you didn't. I did, and still do. £7,000 will get you into a decent spec diesel with around 100,000 miles on the clock. And I really would recommend a diesel because this weighs 2.5 tonnes and shifting that amount of weight with a petrol engine will cost money. As it is, you'll be lucky to get 30 mpg. Because this is a Land Rover, it has off-road capabilities that the other 2 can only dream about. Down here is a host of settings: snow, sand, the north face of the Eiger, whatever you need, just in case you might want to go there. But of more importance are its on-road capabilities. Basically, the Disco 3 is a big square box that swallows people and luggage. If you are looking for one, go for the 7-seat option. Even though you might not want that extra pew, the 7-seaters had air suspension as standard, which is excellent. The 5-seaters did not. So what can go wrong? Well, the air suspension I've just highly recommended can spring a leak, so look out for a warning light on the dash or the car sitting unevenly when it's parked. Discoveries, sadly, are a favourite choice of car thieves, so make sure you have a vehicle history check before you buy. And so to my final car, the Audi Q7. Your £7,000 budget will buy you an early 2007 model. And boy, oh boy, do you get a lot of car. It feels incredibly wide. Measure the garage before you buy one. In the very back, there's 775 litres of space available if you fold the 3rd row of seats down. But if you want those seats up, then you still get a pretty useful 330 litres. So if space is your big thing, this is the one to go for. Like the XC90, the Series 1 Q7 was offered with a bewildering selection of engines over its 8-year life. However, when it was launched, the choice was a 345 bhp petrol or a 230 diesel. And no prizes for guessing which was the most popular. In fact, you might squeeze 30 mpg out of the diesel with a delicate right foot. Of the three, it is most like a saloon car to drive. It's nicely refined, it's comfortable, and it's very well built. Are you now interested in a Q7? If so, here's what you need to know before shelling out. If you're going to buy a car the size of Texas, then expect some whopping bills. It's not unusual for a Q7 to go through a set of tyres every 6,000 miles. Servicing can be another hard hit. Handled with care, and the car's variable servicing schedule might grant you 19,000 miles before the spanner light comes on. However, aggressive driving or lots of stop-start journeys could halve this. And as with all 4x4s, there is a chance that the car will have gone off-road, so get it up onto a ramp and check for abuse. Added together, these cars, when new, would have cost more than £120,000, but now I could acquire the whole lot for £20,000. But what if I had to choose just one? Volvo. To me, the XC90's somewhat old-world charm, ruggedness and relatively compact dimensions give this car a slight 4x4 advantage.